Everyone. Welcome traders to Options Premium Daily. I'm your host, the one with a voice made for this channel and the haircut made for this pandemic, John. Now the question today is PLTR, Palantir. It has had a monster of a run up in the last few weeks. Funds have been buying this thing like crazy, and we've been getting a lot of news. They've had earnings recently too. The question is, will this run up continue? Let's look at the charts and we'll find out. So we're in the platform right now, and the first thing we always want to check is the overall markets, kind of get an idea of maybe the regime. Are we in a market that's looking shaky, toppy? Is it, how's the action? Because that is what usually will determine if there's fuel to the fire for other stocks. So in this case, when we're looking at the SPY, this is kind of the overall S&P 500, and we're seeing somewhat toppy action. We've been sort of sitting here for the last week around almost fresh highs, and we have failed to overcome this big red bar set on 11.9. So this is something that is definitely on the back of my mind. It's not necessarily alarming and something to look out for, but as someone who is a trader, you may want to consider perhaps having a hedge in place because of something like this. We're not in like a ragingly up trending market, even though the trend is up for sure. We're kind of near the top of that channel. It's something to consider. So that is something that ultimately peeks out of my eye. Let's look at the Qs really quick. Today's action, same thing. We're sort of just indeterminate. This whole week, we've been waiting for some kind of catalyst. And I think it's funny that, the last 2 Mondays, we've had COVID vaccine announcements, and you would think that we'd be just soaring after that. And we do have a big bump up, but then we keep sort of closing more towards the downside. So something to consider. There's certainly shakiness. We need better confirmation in the market. So that's really interesting. Let's look at Palantir. So PLTR looking good so far. You can see we built a great base since it came to market. Looked really good. We had earnings, which honestly I think there was a mixed signal on earnings. Some people did not like what they were reporting. It seemed like their parts of their business was slowing down, but I think the upside people saw is that they're kind of diversifying the business. Their customers are becoming a little bit more diversified, and that's always important, depending on the goal of your business overall. So I'm not too big on fundamentals, but I do like seeing the charts. So we can see clear uptrend. It's great. You do have quite a few red bars, but they're usually accompanied by some volume and some follow through that exceed them. But we're now at new fresh highs. Essentially, we touched new highs today and reversed. So that is kind of interesting. The volume is not that bad. It's not like ragingly high as we're dropping. So that's a good sign. We didn't overcome yesterday's lows too. So that does leave us in somewhat of a good position. To get a better feel, let's just go to the weekly just for fun. Okay, great. Just 3 big weeks. Last week you had earnings, and honestly, this could have been a very big reversal type bar. That's doji. But we ended up following through and going up. I would have preferred to see us close more near the highs of this bar, in terms of the weekly. We didn't, but that still is not necessarily a negative sign. I like the price action. Let's go tighter, maybe like the 15-minute chart or so. Okay, so this is a little better. You can see clear ranges. So these last about 3-4 trading days, we sort of sat in this 18 to 19 range, and been up down, but no, it's nice to see a range respected that way. But if we do drop lower, we kind of close more towards the lower section of that range. If we drop lower, you'll notice the next spot we go to $16. So where you are seeing a very clear support and a gap. So that is something that might be tested. It certainly should be respected. I'm definitely looking at that level. If I see a drop there, I'm going pretty heavy Palantir, I think. But at these levels currently, I'm neither completely bullish nor bearish. I do have a position in there, a leap, and I'm actually doing covered calls against it at 20. So I need to kind of see us sitting where we're at. But again, we'll just see how the price action reacts next week for the holiday week. We got Thanksgiving coming up. As I go here, you'll see a clear trend, and I can actually do a couple things. I'm going to go to my drawings. My drawing tools, we can create a trend line if you want, but honestly, I think I can see a better position here with my regression line. So I clicked on regression, and I'm just going to track this down to like the start of the breakout. And ooh, this is nice. Actually, let me change that. I'm going to go back to my drawings, drawing tools. Let's make it a channel, regression channel. I'm going to click here on today's bar, and I will keep moving this down, down, down to our breakout. And this is really interesting. You're actually going to see this channel being respected. This regression channel looks really good. It is certainly something that we probably may continue, but we could test this lower bound. And like we had said, the 16 level seems to be something that could be respected. So you can see we touched 16 here and here. And here actually. So we're looking at the possibility of testing lower. I do feel that this would hold as support, but you always got to play. If you're a smart trader, the pros, they like to play in probabilities, not necessarily saying, oh, this is going to go way higher or way lower. You got to think in probabilities. So that's kind of the biggest analysis of Palantir. Let's see how it shakes out. We'll kind of revisit this next week because there is bound to be some movement there. With that being said, I appreciate you stopping by. Enjoy your weekend and get ready for the holiday. And most of all, be safe. Thank you again, and chat with you again next week. Bye-bye.